That's Amanda Greger being booked into a jail in Ohio after being charged with endangering a 1-year-old baby girl named Layla.
The defendant told police she had consumed a lot of vodka that evening, unsure of the actual amount, was using THC, and was on unprescribed muscle relaxers.
Greger is behind bars and the baby is fighting for her life. I go through the horrific claims being made against Amanda Greger. I'm Angenette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Have you ever wondered how we are able to share so many clips from breaking news cases as they are unfolding? Well, here's a secret. Opus Clip is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it a breeze to cut, create, and upload videos across any platform. Through AI, Opus Clip generates B-roll. It reframes footage and even cleans up audio. Just visit opus.pro/crimefix, sign up, and upload. In minutes, you will have perfectly edited clips ready to go. For TikTok, Shorts, or even Reels, it's a one-stop shop. Having Opus Clip means our producers can post viral updates instantly. This is the most powerful tool for sharing ideas and editing like a pro. Go to opus.pro/crimefix to create your videos today. And for November only, you can get 65% off an annual plan. Amanda Greger is a 37-year-old woman who appears to have worked in the healthcare field at one point in time. She is accused of seriously injuring her best friend's 1-year-old baby girl. The baby, Layla, has horrific injuries, including a brain bleed, and is being treated at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. She is fighting for her life and was placed on a ventilator, but now she's been able to come off that ventilator, according to a post on Facebook. Layla's mom, Melissa Bilby, she's a single mom and has 4 children, and Layla is the youngest. And she was working an overnight shift, according to police, when the baby was injured. This case is out of Goshen, Ohio. It's a community outside of Cincinnati. The investigation started on November 10th when Layla's mother came home and found her injured. The complaint is redacted, but I was able to fill in the blanks based on what we know about these allegations. An officer wrote, on November 10th, 2025, Cincinnati Children's Hospital contacted the Goshen Township Police Department to report suspected child abuse at a home on Woodville Pike, Goshen Township, Clermont County, Ohio. On that same date, the baby was brought to Cincinnati Children's Hospital by a person whose name is redacted, likely her mother. According to hospital staff, Layla presented with an altered mental status and several visible injuries, including blood seeping from Layla's right eye, and was found to have had a brain bleed. During the course of the investigation, the following information was obtained. Layla's mother had left her in the care of Amanda Greger during the overnight hours of November 9th, 2025. When the mom returned home from work the following morning, she found Layla asleep with abrasions to her lip. She was lethargic and unable to wake. Amanda was also in the bedroom when Layla's injuries were discovered and was observed wearing a hoodie covered in what appeared to be blood and vomit. A search warrant was obtained and executed at the residence at Woodville Pike. During the search of the home, blood stains were located throughout the room. The clothing Layla had been wearing was found in the washing machine, washed but still visibly stained. Layla's mom confirmed the clothing was what Layla had been wearing prior to Layla's injuries. Now, Amanda Greger, she was taken into custody and charged with child endangering and tampering with evidence. Here's video of Greger being booked into the jail in Clermont County, Ohio, just east of Cincinnati.
Have you recently attempted suicide?
Suicide watch?
Do you have any serious medical or mental health issues that you immediately addressed?
Oh, I guess I don't need to.
Do they have to invite you to get in handcuffs?
Greger appeared in court to answer to the charges, and the prosecutor offered more details about the allegations. Take a look.
The defendant told police she had consumed a lot of vodka that evening, unsure of the actual amount, was using THC, and was on unprescribed muscle relaxers, and did it, but doesn't remember what she did.
Greger stood in the courtroom wearing an orange jumpsuit as the prosecutor detailed how Layla's mother found her.
When the mother came home the next morning from work, she came home to a horror scene no parent ever wants to experience. The defendant was in the bedroom with the baby, standing over the baby.
This is every mom's worst nightmare. Baby Layla's family shared this photo of her with a local news outlet. She was placed on a ventilator at the hospital. Now, get this. The prosecutor says that when Amanda Gregor was interviewed by police, she said, "Right, I know that about the baby's injuries. A baby just doesn't end up injured for no reason." And she added, "If I can do something like that and not remember, maybe I am a monster." So I want to bring in Mark Weaver to discuss this case and the horrible, absolutely awful allegations here. Mark, you work as a prosecutor in the state of Ohio. You sometimes work as a judge. This is a horrific case with a horrific set of allegations. This poor little baby, Layla, is in the hospital, fighting for her life at Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. And she, it sounds like she's making some good progress, but may not be out of the woods yet. What is your take on the allegations here from what we're reading in the complaint?
Yeah, the evidence is stunning. Every parent would be mortified to learn that the person who they trusted their child with has abused this child, and the injuries to this baby are difficult to read. The evidence tells a story of a babysitter who clearly committed heinous physical abuse against this baby. There's blood at the scene. There's attempts to wash the blood away in the laundry. The babysitter says she didn't remember what happened, but she was clear of mind enough to go and wash the evidence away. We may never know exactly what happened, particularly if this woman was under some influence of drugs or alcohol. But under the law, voluntary intoxication or being under drugs is not a defense to any crime. So luckily, there's not much luck in a case like this, but luckily the crime scene and the evidence builds enough of a case for a jury to want to convict this person, probably of second-degree felony, felonious assault, and also probably an additional charge of tampering with evidence.
What's so horrifying to me about this is that Amanda Gregor was apparently a very good friend of Layla's mother. And so Layla's mom is working long hours, and she leaves her daughter, from everything we're finding out, with her good friend, thinking, my beautiful baby girl is going to be with my friend who's going to love her and care for her, as much as I do. And the allegation here is that she goes to work and she comes home and she finds blood on the walls, and her baby is a mess. Like, she won't wake up. I mean, that's what's so stunning to me about this. I mean, it could happen even if she left her baby with a family member. But this is somebody who she trusted as her friend to care for her baby. And it sounds like, from what we're seeing too, Amanda Gregor works in the healthcare field, or at least did at some point in time, and was a nurse of some sort. So you've got that aspect of it too. I mean, that's terrifying.
Yeah, my heart goes out to this mother. She's a single mom. I think she has 4 children. This is the youngest of the children. Single moms often have to go out and work, and they need childcare, and it's tough. And she turns to somebody she trusted, and she took her most valuable person in her life, the most loving and vulnerable person in her life, one of her children, the youngest, and put her in the care of this person. All of us who have children have had to bring a babysitter in, and we all hope for the best. This is just one of those tragic outcomes, and there's going to have to be a serious prosecution with a serious punishment for what is a very troubling outcome. I'm hoping and praying that this child's going to come through this. Children can be resilient, and she's certainly being cared for in one of the best children's hospitals in the country. So all of us should be hoping and praying for an outcome for this child and justice to be done with this, what appears to be an abuser.
I want to go through the complaint, just a little bit. I'll put it up on the screen here. And basically, the allegation, according to the complaint, was that, mom comes home and she finds Layla with an altered mental status, several visible injuries, including blood seeping from her right eye. And she was found to have a brain bleed. That to me says some type of injury, obviously, to the head. And then they say during the course of the investigation, they found that mom just leaves leaves Layla with Amanda Greger in the overnight hours. And when she returned home from work the following morning, she finds her daughter asleep. She's got abrasions to her lip. I mean, it sounds like this baby was just like beaten. She's lethargic and unable to wake. And she finds this woman, Amanda, standing over her child in the bedroom. I mean, the prosecutor described this as her mom walking into a horror scene. I mean, can you even imagine, Mark? I mean, and it sounds like they find the clothes in the washer. So this baby was brutally abused, according to the prosecution, while mom's at work, and she walks in seeing this woman standing over her.
Yeah, prosecutors will need to bring significant medical experts to testify about this. There won't be any witnesses. The defendant will almost certainly not take the stand and testify. I doubt there was video surveillance in the house. But there's a concept in law, we get it from tort law, but it applies elsewhere, called res ipsa loquitur, Latin for the thing speaks for itself, which means we can deduce from a set of facts what happened. And in this case, we can deduce from this set of facts that this caregiver abused the child. Now, some of these symptoms are consistent with shaken baby. When a baby is being violently shaken because they're crying or otherwise annoying the caregiver, it's the abrasions on the lips that makes this a little different, because normally shaking a baby, which is a horrible thing to do, you never shake a baby, creates internal injuries in the head. Abrasion to the lip suggests that there was either some punching, hitting, or dropping the baby on some sort of surface that would cause the abrasions.
It certainly does. There's some information floating around out there on Facebook that the baby Layla has been taken off a ventilator. That's good news that she's been able to come off of that. But that doesn't mean that there won't be potentially lasting impacts from these injuries.
Oh, for sure. Babies are, I mentioned earlier, they're resilient, but they're also growing so quickly at this age that any damage to these tissues or some of the connections in the brain could have long-term effects. Like I said, I'm hopeful and praying that this child will be able to fully recover, but this is serious stuff. And that's why we take child abuse cases so seriously as prosecutors. And it's the kind of cases that gets me the most angry and wants me to spend as much time as I can to ensure justice for these victims.
Right now, the charges as they stand, we have a child endangering charge. We have tampering with evidence charges. These are just the initial charges after Amanda Greger's arrest. Things can often change when you go to grand jury. Do you see potentially additional charges being added based on what we know, or do you think that these will remain the same?
I think this will likely wind up with a second-degree felony, felonious assault, or aggravated child abuse. We're all hoping and praying this child does not die. Obviously, if the child were to die, it would be a horrible tragedy, and these charges would be upgraded then. But as the investigation continues, other things will come out. And having spoken to a lot of grand juries over the years, I'm here to tell you that the grand jurors will be furious about this case. And I've been in grand juries where the grand jurors have said to me, what other charges can you bring? I'll bring them a certain couple charges I think they should indict on. And there are times when grand jurors hear the facts and say, please give us any other charges you can, because we want to indict this person on additional charges.
That's really interesting because Amanda Greger is, allegedly, they're going to take obviously they took blood from her after this to see what drugs she had in her system. She made an admission about taking these drugs, the painkillers that were not prescribed for her, along with the THC and drinking vodka. I mean, does that enhance the charge in your mind, or is that an aggravating factor to any charge, or does that enhance the culpability?
Yeah, it certainly shows recklessness. If there had not been serious damage to the child, then this would make it easier to bring the charge up. But it's the damage it's the physical injury to the child that raises this up to the level of at least a second-degree felony. And so the charge is pretty serious as it is. You can serve up to 8 years in prison for a second-degree felony, and then I think it's a third-degree felony for the tampering with evidence. So those charges could be stacked. So this woman could be serving a very long prison sentence. And the investigation's just starting. And I'm going to imagine these investigators feel motivated to look as deeply as they can into this woman's life to see if there are other things that would indicate she's violated the law. And so I would not be surprised to see additional charges.
Well, we will definitely keep an eye on it. It's a horrible case. And this poor little baby and her family, we hope that, she does recover and can live a normal life, as normal of a life as a child can after sustaining injuries such as these. Mark Weaver, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
A sad case. Thank you for having me on.
It just so happens that right after I spoke with Mark Weaver, the grand jury in Clermont County, Ohio, indicted Amanda Greger on that felonious assault charge, just as Mark had predicted. So now she faces 9 charges, including felonious assault, child endangering, and tampering with evidence. She faces up to 23 years in prison if she's convicted. Now, as I mentioned, Layla's mother, Melissa, is a single mom with 4 children, and a GoFundMe page has been set up to help her out with expenses. It reads, Joey's sister Melissa has been at Children's Hospital with her daughter Layla since Monday morning due to the severe trauma to her little 1-year-old's body. She was admitted to the PICU with a brain bleed, bruised lungs, fluid along her spine, and fluid around her heart. She was intubated, then later placed on a ventilator, and she is being kept heavily sedated to help her heal. Melissa gets told every day that this will be a long process, several weeks to maybe months. Melissa was working Sunday night and left her with a lifetime friend that she trusted to protect her and keep her kids safe while she worked to provide for them. While this is all under investigation, we do have faith that justice will be served for Layla. Melissa will be out of work for an extended period of time while she is with Layla in the hospital. She hasn't left her side and doesn't plan to until she gets to come home. Please consider donating to help offset the cost of any bills that will begin piling up: mortgage, utilities, food, repairs to replace carpet that was removed during the investigation, etc. Melissa is a single mother of 4 children. Please continue to pray for Layla, Melissa, and her 3 kids. And here's another look at the body-worn camera footage of Amanda Greger being booked into the jail.
Have you recently attempted suicide?
Suicide watch.
Do you have any serious medical or mental health issues that you immediately addressed?
Oh, I guess I don't need to.
Do they have to confront you to get you in handcuffs?
Amanda Greger remains in the Clermont County Jail in lieu of a $500,000 bond. Charges will be presented to the grand jury at a later date, and we'll keep you posted on this case and little Layla's recovery. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.